let me say that Raul is different from me. His brain is RDF. Everything are small concepts and arrows connected. Yeah, so he works like that. And then he has curly brackets everywhere in JSON. I'm a different guy. To me, everything's a table. I'm sorry. So I developed this stuff that is called TAPIS. That is actually an acronym that stands for Tables from APIs. Actually, TAPIS is a word that exists in English, in Catalan, in French also. So that's a nice, tapestry. So it resembles like a raster somehow. So I like it. Anyway, so first thing you need to, the exercise I'm going to do, and by the way, you see that Raul is black and I'm white. That's another thing. So, the first thing that I will show you is how a SensorThings API looks like in here. Because if you don't understand that, you will then not able to identify the dynamic SensorThings API that is accessed through the data space. So first thing first, let's see how a SensorThings API looks like. And if you have been listening, you will already guess how it will look like. How it will look like?
Tables.
Like a table, of course. So this is a SensorThings API that actually, I believe, Andreas knows. It's something that we are doing for another project that is called CityOps. And you go like this, and you see here below that this guy, this SensorThings API, poses campaigns, data streams, licenses, historical locations, and by the way, observations. So it's a tabular representation of that. So we can go to this thing, and you see a list of results. This is actually the observations that this SensorThings API is storing. So now you have learned how a SensorThings API looks like in here. So next thing is, can we access a SensorThings API that has been created dynamically through the data space? Yes, we can. The first thing that we need to do is to actually connect to another thing, that is the data space catalog. So we have this federated catalog here, and we do a click like that, and in principle, we see, and it's there already, we see the content of the catalog. This is what Raul calls more metadata. So this is actually the horrible stuff that nobody understands, full of URLs and these strange things, sequence of numbers that are actually identifiers. But if we go down, one of the exercises was include humane things like abstracts and titles, well, titles here anyway, and dates and languages and restrictions, and you see, and names of variables that we cover and all this stuff. So yes, as Raul was saying, we transformed the metadata that is in the GeoNetwork catalog managed by Alba into another kind of metadata created automatically by Raul and his team, and it's exposed here. So now the adventure is understand how on earth we are going to see one of these resources. And I believe this is the one that I will try, because even if it doesn't say that, this is the dynamic SensorThings API. So now you have to actually pay attention, because many things are going to start happening. You will see here that starts a content negotiation, etc., etc., etc. So we do that, we say, okay, the graph is now a little bit more complicated, and a contract negotiation is initiated. The contract negotiation, that by the way, the contract is empty, because there are no restrictions here, was successful, then we request transfer, then the transfer start, and finally we get the URL, and we download the URL. As if you were a little bit, attentive, in here there was a JSON representation until the TAPIS identified automatically that this is a SensorThings API root, so it changes the bubble into a SensorThings API root. You can see here that the URL is a mysterious URL. Believe me, whatever the resource I'm gonna try to access, the URL is always the same. There is an authentication superstring that is sent with this URL that actually makes the server understand what is the resource. So in order to demonstrate that this is a really SensorThings API, I should go to observations and see a sequence of numbers. Now the interoperability adventure starts. Yes, I have a result, but it's a kind of a strange result because, as I say, Raul is a curly bracket man. So even the result is a curly bracket. So here I have a small tool to actually, it's called separating columns to make that a little bit more humane. And now you see the sequence of values here. And if I was adventurous, I could even try to do a graph. I have no idea because I haven't tested this recently, so I don't know if this is gonna work. So phenomenon time and result numerical value and draw. Definitely, this is not what should happen. But anyway, I will review that later. Sorry for that. Probably I don't know. Maybe it's the dates that are not in order or something like that. I'm sorry. I say that I haven't tried that, and this is what happens when you don't try that. But you see, we are going to the catalog. We discover a particular asset. We actually negotiate the access to this asset. This asset is a SensorThings API. We concatenate a parameter that is called the slice observations. You can see it here, and we see the actual data. And if you do it right, you can hide the complexity. So what is happening is actually a sequence of posts and stuff here. So there is you see, almost 12 different HTTP gets and posts and all kind of strange things to actually do that. So it took me a while to actually figure it out, but in the end, it works. And now the next step, of course, is when you actually select one of these, you should be able to actually specify your contract. Now I'm sending a void contract, and if something more sophisticated is needed, I will get a 500. I'm not authorized. Okay, so this is actually my demo. There's nothing else that I wanted to. I mean, of course, I have been working with this tool for ages, and there are other things that you can do. For instance, accessing the Minio folders that Raul was talking about. This is public. This is www.tapis.groomes.cat. If you want to try it, you can do it yourself.